Hey everybody, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Vicky.
And we're the Drama Mamas.
Yeah, we are.
This week we take on King of Texas.
Yes.
In which there is much disowning.
There's much. Much.
So please silence your cell phones. Viewer discussion is advised, and now your feature presentation.
Dun, dun, dun.
So King of Texas is an adaptation of King Lear.
Yes.
Which is a Shakespearean play.
As is everything we're doing in this season.
That I have no exposure to whatsoever.
Okay.
So I went into this blind.
Okay.
Super blind. All right, so let's just get into the dirty details.
Okay.
So this was directed by Uli Edel. He's also credited as Ulrich Edel. He's German.
Okay.
German. He has 33 directing credits, beginning in 1977. What is that face?
I didn't expect this movie to be made by someone German.
I honestly was not surprised that it wasn't someone American.
Well, I didn't expect it to be someone necessarily American, but German is a bit not what I pictured.
Yeah, he started his career in 1977, according to IMDb, his directing career. He had a lot of German films and TV. He did an episode of Twin Peaks. He did an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
I used to like that a lot.
Me too. Since he's done nothing that I know of. He's done several TV movies and etc. But nothing I was familiar with. Wasn't really familiar with this either. So
yeah.
he's
I wasn't either. I just Googled Shakespeare movies.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's get 10 that aren't on the same play.
Yeah, and I also wanted to branch out and see some stuff I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
Which was really easy with Shakespeare stuff, because as it turns out, I haven't watched a ton of Shakespeare stuff.
Yeah, I've seen, of the movies that we're doing, I had seen She's the Man.
Mm-hmm. I had not.
The Lion King,
of
obviously. Who hasn't?
Right. Who our age hasn't?
Right, like, come on now. And 10 Things I Hate About You, and I think that might be it of the 10.
I'd seen O and The Lion King and 10 Things I Hate About You and Big Business. We're going to be doing that in a couple weeks, and I've seen that. It's very funny. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, anyway. So it was written by Stephen Harrigan. He has 14 writing credits. Career started in 1992. He did a TV movie entitled The O.J. Simpson Story in 1995. A Cleopatra miniseries in 1999, Beyond the Prairie Part 2, The True Story of Laura Ingalls Wilder.
What did you say the director's name is?
The director, Uli Edel.
No, not that one, the other one.
Stephen Harrigan.
Oh, Harrigan.
What did you think I said?
I was thinking you had said Stephen Harrington, and that's Steve from Stranger Things.
Well, I kept...
And so I was like, Steve?
When I was doing the notes, which was not that long ago, I kept reading it as Harrington too, and I wasn't sure why, and it's from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was like, wait, isn't that his name? No.
It's an ode. So since King of Texas, he has done 2 TV movies, neither of which I recognize, and he hasn't done anything for a while, so he might be dead, guys. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Does not come up when you Googled his name?
I mean, it might have, but I only looked at his writing credits. I don't give a shit about anything else. Okay. Acting credits. So, first we have Sir Patrick Stewart. I only researched him and Susanna, his oldest daughter.
Susanna.
Was
fucking rotten.
Don't you cry for me. From Alabama with a banjo and mini. To Alabama?
What?
Oh, Susanna.
Oh.
Don't you cry for me.
Oh.
I think it's
you
for
come from Alabama with a banjo on your knee.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, great. Yep, we're in the South, y'all.
Next, we're going to start singing Dixie. No joke.
I will not. I will sing a little bit of Rocky Top if you want me to.
Oh, that's in like episode 2, I think.
I'll sing a little bit more Rocky Top.
So, I went to high school with a guy who had a Dixie horn. So as we were...
Did you? Mm-hmm. Was his name Michael?
I don't know. He had a truck that was like...
His black truck?
It was pumped
Confederate
up.
flags.
Mm-hmm.
He always piled people into it.
Probably.
I've rode in that truck.
100% would play that at the end of every school day.
Yeah. He was still coming after he graduated at the end of every school day and playing it.
Well, he's got to keep it alive.
And he was friends-ish with my high school boyfriend, which is odd because
Michael
they're
who?
not...
It's not important.
I don't know. He's redneck as fuck.
Redneck and eyes. It's been in my head for days. Rory said recognize really weird the other day, and it made me want to say redneck and eyes, and I didn't have an opportunity to do it until right now. I'm so glad I did.
Are you coming for my, like, trailer park crown?
Yeah, I am. Oh, you better watch out.
Jesus. Redneck and eyes.
All right, so Sir Patrick Stewart has 148 acting credits beginning in 1964.
Yeah, dude.
Before this, he had lots of work on movies and TV.
Star Trek.
Yes. He was in the original North and South, which is a BBC miniseries that I was super into 10 years after it came out, because that's how it works with me and the BBC. It's really good. It's on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's about this girl who's from Southern England, where apparently everything is super warm and nice, and her father has misfortunes, or he doesn't want to be part of the clergy because of
something
corruption.
Oh, okay.
In the church. So they move to the north, and things are a lot harder there, and they move to like this manufacturing town, and she's like really upset and up in arms about the injustices of the working class.
Okay.
And she falls in love with this guy who heads up the factory, and at first she just thinks he's a huge dick, and then she realizes that he's such a dick because he's trying to keep his people safe.
Right.
And it's like right around the time of like communism and the union. It's good. You should check it out. Everybody should check it out.
Yeah, okay. Probably I won't, but okay.
Well, you don't like period stuff, do you? Like,
I don't like period stuff. No.
Not that period.
Who does?
Luke hates like anything set in a previous time period.
There's some things that I'll watch.
I'm super into that shit.
Like Interview with a Vampire.
Yes, first and foremost, that is a period piece. All right, so Sir Patrick Stewart was in Star Trek as Captain Jean-Luc Picard. USS Enterprise.
Yeah, dude.
He was obviously in the X-Men.
Yes, obviously, yes.
A TV movie.
A TV
movie of Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet. Anything I saw that was Shakespearean, after a certain point, I started to.
That's cute.
Since King of Texas, he reprised both his X-Men and Star Trek roles. He was the narrator in Ted 2, and he has a regular part on American Dad, which I did not know.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch American Dad. I think it's really dumb.
It is really dumb.
For the record.
It is really. It's that and Family Guy and The Cleveland Show and pretty much everything else that Seth MacFarlane has touched.
Yes.
They all have like the same
vibe.
Yeah, and people eat it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I will admit that I liked Family Guy for like a few seasons. But...
Yeah, I liked Family Guy when I was like 16.
Yeah. Well, 18, but yeah.
Well, when you were 18, I was about 16.
Yeah.
So that's when the content was good.
Susanna was played by Marcia, I'm not sure how she says it, Gay Harden. She has 106 acting credits beginning in 1979.
She's got a fucking bitch face.
She does. And she's really recognizable. She's been in, like, everything.
Has she?
Yeah, like, well, we'll go over it in just a second. She had an uncredited role in Footloose, which probably means she was shaking her hips or something. Okay. She was in Space Cowboys, which is the first movie I remember seeing her in. Actually, First Wives Club, first movie I remember seeing her in. She played the therapist that Diane Keaton's husband fucks.
Okay. Yeah, so she's a bitch in that too.
She was in Flubber. Don't remember her in Flubber, but it wasn't one of my favorite movies.
Flubber.
She was in Meet Joe Black, which we've talked about.
Uh-huh.
Since this movie, she was in Mystic River, Mona Lisa Smile, Damages, The Newsroom, and she's in the 50 Shades movies.
I've not watched or read those, so...
I have done both.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware.
So this movie came out in 2002, which kind of shocked the hell out of me because this feels like a 1995-ish movie.
It does. It's a
TV movie.
Yeah, which means it was on the cheaper end.
Yes, the budget was low. Especially, I mean, considering the cast.
Patrick Stewart? You've got Sir Patrick Stewart in a made-for-TV movie? That's what shocked me. I was like,
well,
you don't do TV movies.
He has said that this is his favorite Shakespearean type role that he ever did.
Well, he did it well. In
2002, the top song was Lose Yourself by Eminem.
Oh, I had the hots for him really bad. In 2002.
We all called that.
Yeah. It's not so much now.
So this really touched my heart. The price of a Taco Bell bean burrito in 2002 was 69 cents.
Oh.
Yeah. Funny story about Taco Bell's bean burrito. That was all I would eat when I was little.
Me too. Bean burrito, no onions.
Yes. Okay, so I went with one of my friends. I spent the night. They wanted to go to Taco Bell. And so I told her mom, who was from New York. She was a very abrasive woman.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. Well, I don't like to generalize, but she specifically was quite abrasive. And she's like, what do you want? And I told her I wanted a bean burrito with no onions. She's like, oh, they don't put onions on them.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Big, chunky ones that are not cooked.
But I was a respectful child. And so I said, they usually do. That's why I order them without. And she was like, they don't. So she didn't order them without. And so when I got my food, I didn't complain. I didn't say anything. I just opened it up and started picking out the onions because...
they're huge, chunky onions.
Yeah, like I'm not going to eat it.
No.
And she was just like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm taking the onions off. And she just sat there a minute. She looked at the burrito and she looked at me and she's like, give it to me. And she apologized, which was nice.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, she was kind of a cunt before that.
Yeah.
All right, so the scene in 2002 Spider-Man where Peter Parker catches Mary Jane's tray in the school cafeteria does not have any CGI.
No shit.
The whole thing was actually done by Tobey Maguire himself.
Wow.
And it took him 156 takes to get it perfect.
Okay. Well, I was about to say, I don't see him as being that well coordinated.
He's not. He was not actually bitten by a radioactive spider.
Shocker.
So, I know. He didn't go method.
Damn.
What happens here stays here. What became the slogan for Las Vegas in 2002.
In 2002?
Mm-hmm. Left eye died
crazy.
In a car crash.
I turned 12 at the end of 2002, so I guess I didn't think a whole lot about Vegas.
I remember when the commercials started. Like,
yeah.
What happens here stays here.
I just thought that was their shit.
Right. I thought that was like always.
Yeah. Whatever.
ER's Dr. Green, played by Anthony Edwards, died of fucking, I think, brain cancer. Oh. Some bullshit. I'm an ER. Well, the first, 7 seasons, I'm an ER fan.
Oh.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Really? You didn't know that?
I did.
Okay.
Know that. I knew that.
I was about to say, because if you turn behind you, you'll see my DVD set of the first 6 seasons.
Yeah.
They're in there.
Yeah, I mean, I can see 2 of them.
So this is fun. What?
This is fun.
This is a fun little tidbit for you.
Oh, Jesus.
The Sun had gone out of commission, the paper The Sun, and when they came back in commission in 2002, they listed the solution for the crossword puzzle in their last edition, which was in 1950. Can you imagine just one guy is just like, I don't know if this is right. I didn't silence myself.
Yeah, no. I caught that.
Normally,
you don't get messages.
Oh, it was my game telling me I had all my lives.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I'm here.
Right. And who the hell is messaging you?
Sonia didn't message group chat, so if it's her, I'm offended.
I'm going to need to see that message.
You need to clue me in.
Tom Green won 5 Razzies for Freddy Got Fingered in 2002.
Ooh,
He showed up
I like that movie.
I've never seen that movie. He showed up in a white Cadillac, rolled out his own red carpet, and had to be dragged off stage because he wouldn't stop playing a harmonica. Switzerland didn't join the UN until 2002. Casey Kasem was a devout vegan. He quit the Scooby-Doo show in 1995 when asked to voice Shaggy in a Burger King commercial, returning in 2002 after negotiating to have Shaggy become a vegetarian. Claritin became an over-the-counter allergy medicine.
You don't get to negotiate Shaggy from Scooby-Doo being a vegetarian.
If you are Shaggy, you kind of do.
No. Have you seen that cartoon that he eats meat? Like a lot.
Well, he eats indistinct shapes that could probably be meat.
Bruh.
Well, since 2002, he's had a change of heart.
Oh, okay.
Health.
The PETA videos got to him?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is interesting. I'm just going to tell you what's interesting. Take my word for it. A car was reported running off the road in Surrey, England by multiple witnesses. Police arrived and found no signs of a crash. After a careful search, the car and driver were finally found, but it was determined the accident occurred 5 months earlier.
What? What?
That's weird, right?
Yeah.
I would have done the X-Files, but it's hard to do that with your mouth.
That's
what she said.
That is what she said.
A wild fox wandered into the United States Supreme Court building in 2002 and eluded capture for more than a day. And you know what? I listened to
Smart
that.
As a fox.
What is it? Yeah. Sly as a fox.
Sly as a fox.
I listened to the podcast about the Supreme Court. More Perfect. And they have yet to mention that, so I'm a little disappointed. That should have been a whole episode about the fox that stayed.
Eluded capture.
Yes. Between 2002 and 2012, college textbook prices rose 82%, while overall consumer prices rose 28%.
Bruh.
Yeah.
I have my degree.
Mm-hmm.
Small degree. Baby degree. Mm-hmm. And I had to buy one book, I think, and everything else was like digital copies. I had to buy one book for fucking a program that I've never used again. Peachtree. Never used it again. I've been in several positions. Nobody uses it. But whatever. Thanks for teaching me, college. That book was like $200. Yeah. It was fucking stupid.
Publishing is a dying industry.
Fucking stupid. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's cool.
I'll buy your book someday.
The top grossing films, if I ever get it published.
Well, I mean, I've already read them.
The top grossing films in 2002 were Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers.
Okay.
Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Yep.
Spider-Man.
Second week in a row, innit?
What? That a Harry Potter movie?
Didn't we have another Harry Potter movie?
Yeah, we did. I don't know if it was
last week. I
don't
remember if it was last week either, but I know it was recently.
Yeah, it might have been 2006. It might have been Goblet of Fire.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man was the third, and the Oscar winner was A Beautiful Mind. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, yeah. I feel like I've started to watch it. I don't know if I've watched the whole
thing. It's a little bit dry, but I liked it. It has Russell Crowe in it. He plays like I think he might be autistic or some shit, but he's like a amazing mathematician.
Yeah.
And he's got some serious mental problems, and there's a really neat twist at the end.
Yeah, I don't watch math movies because I live math.
King of Texas is about a man of high regard in Texas, obviously.
No, he's in Texas.
He was instrumental in the liberation of Texas. He's well regarded by the president. He has a very large ranch, and he's toward the end of his days, so he is going to be splitting up the ranch to his daughters so that they can go ahead and take over while he's still alive so that he can help them in whatever way they need.
Right.
So he puts them through a test to convince him through their oratory skills that they love him. So
I'm glad that you said it like that instead of being like, they had to convince him orally.
I mean, ooh. Ooh.
So Patrick Stewart, I didn't think you were the type.
Right. Well, he is playing a character.
It's true.
So Susanna, is the oldest daughter. She goes first, and she's just like, oh, she waxes poetic about his strength, and he's just like, I like that. Yep. So he gives her some good shit.
Yep.
So then Rebecca goes, and she's like, I ain't good with the words, Pa. And
he's like, bitch, you better be.
She's like, the feeling that I have when I ride in the sunrise, it's like that. And he's like, ooh, I like that answer.
I love you like I love the sun.
So he's like, you'll get this land. And her husband's like, that's not good enough. And he's like, hold your horses. There's some other shit.
Right. He's like, I'm not fucking done, you little shit.
Yeah. Her husband, like, places himself as the asshole pretty early on. So then he goes to his youngest daughter, who we've already seen. You okay?
Yeah.
So then he goes to his youngest daughter,
yes.
Claudia. I don't know if we said this on the podcast or not, but there's this season of 24 where Jack Bauer is dealing with this cartel. And
Are you why I know this?
Yes.
Claudia. When it was said, I was like, Claudia. Yes. Claudia. And then I was like, where is this from?
The second in command is in love with this girl who's in love with Jack Bauer, as they all are.
Of course.
And her name's Claudia. And he says it, Claudia. And he says it like a million times every episode. Claudia. And so every time I hear Claudia, it's Claudia. Anyway.
Okay, that makes me feel better. No, literally, because the dude...
It'll get stuck in your head.
When he said it, I was like, Claudia! And then I was like, wait a second, that's a thing?
Where the fuck did that come from?
That's a thing? I know it's a thing, but I don't know what it's a thing from.
All right, so then he comes to Claudia.
Claudia!
So then he comes to Claudia, and he's just like, bitch, prove your love to me. And she's just like, no. Like, right. I shouldn't have to tell you how much I love you. You should know how much I love you because of all the shit that I do for you. I was 100% on board. You know who wasn't 100% on board?
Her dad.
He's just like, fuck you, bitch. And so he, like, disowns her and sends her out.
Yep, GTFO.
Mm-hmm. We've already established at this point that he has an enemy, Menchaca, that they have fought before, but they are not fighting now. They're just, like, cold warring it.
They're like, I hate you too.
And then we've got this old guy who's kind of stuck up his ass, and he has 2 sons, one of which he doesn't care for, and the other one who he does.
A bastard.
Yes, but we don't know that yet. But yeah, we find out he's a bastard in every possible sense of the word.
Yes.
So Claudia runs to Menchaca for help.
Claudia.
And Rebecca's husband is just like, this land isn't good enough for me. This land that was just given to me freely. Right. Not good enough. What I want is this land that Menchaca has. And so I'm going to get it. Yeah. I'm going to fight for it. This is the right time to do it.
Yep.
And
think of all the cows.
And Susanna's just like, I'm picking up what you're laying down. So they hatch a plot to do that. She kicks her dad out through a series of events.
Yep.
He runs to Rebecca. Rebecca is in on the plot to fight Menchaca, and her husband and her father fight, and her dad's just like, come with me. And she's like, no, I'm going to stay with my husband. And he's just like, you're no daughter of mine. I got no kids no more. Fuck y'all. So then he goes in the desert and goes crazy.
Yep.
I feel like I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this.
No.
Okay, so then Emmett, who's the bastard, and Thomas, who's not the bastard, but he's kind of like a layabout, good. Emmett frames Thomas, and I totally saw this coming. Frames Thomas for like stealing a bunch of horses and selling them.
I saw it coming too when he was like, "You've been wanting to go to wherever."
Yeah, as soon as he was trying to get him away, I was
like, "What are you doing?
Something's up,
sketchy fuck."
So he gets Thomas to go out of town. He frames him for stealing the horses, and then when he comes back, he finds money in his purse. And so his dad disowns him. Like, these are really shitty fathers, guys. Like, hands down, bad dads.
Well.
So, let's see. Highsmith, Rebecca's husband, comes to him and he's just like, hey, bro, we want your help fighting Menchaca. And he's like, oh, is John on board? John Lear? The old guy? And he's just like, yeah, he's totally on board. And when he finds out he's not, he's just like, I'm not helping you, fuck you guys. And they put his eyes out. When they are putting his eyes out, Highsmith, Rebecca's husband, gets shot, dies. They put his other eye out. Now he's completely blind. And he knows that Emmett sold him out.
And they killed the guy that shot him.
Yes. So now they're like, oh. Yeah, I am doing a bad job of explaining this.
It's kind of... It's hard to explain because a lot of the stuff you don't know what's happening until later.
Right. So the reason they really put his eyes out is not just because he won't help them, but because when he finds out John's not on board, then he won't help them. But then John's servant tells him that Claudia is with Menchaca.
He's a slave, bro.
Yeah. What'd I say?
Servant.
Oh, his slave. When his slave tells him that Claudia he's a slave, but he gets by with a lot of stuff that
slave.
Yeah. Well, it's because he's a war hero.
Yeah.
And John respects that. But yes. So the slave tells him that Claudia is with Menchaca, Rip.
Yeah.
And so
she's in danger.
She's in danger if they attack. So then the guy doesn't just not help them. He goes and tells their enemy they're coming.
Yep.
To help Claudia.
Yep.
And that's when they put his eyes out.
Yep.
So now Menchaca knows they're coming. They know he knows they're coming. So then they're like, we got to do this now. So they go. Lear has lost his mind in the desert. They find him. They bring him to Claudia. Then Susanna and Rebecca's forces attack. Susanna's husband comes back. He's like, what the fuck happened? She's like, you're too late. He's like, no, I'm not. He goes to Menchaca. And the battle wages on. Claudia ends up getting killed. And then Lear dies. I think I was making notes when he died because he was alive. And then they showed his body.
Yeah, no, he like fell over dead.
Okay, cool.
Like he was broken heart. I guess.
I legit thought that they were just faking them all off because I did not see him die.
No, he like fell over dead.
So then they bring all the bodies. They show Susanna and Rebecca what they've done. And they kill Susanna because she tries to run away. And Rebecca, I assume...
Did they kill her? Because I thought she had, like, rode off, and they were like, well, fuck her, and she got out there and she killed herself. But maybe I'm wrong.
Well, she gets shot.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's by her own hand. I thought they shot her.
I'm not sure.
And then they take Rebecca into custody, and then they show Thomas, who is the bad son turned good son, and he's taken over the ranch, and him and his dad are getting along great, and everything's great.
Great.
God, that was a really long explanation.
I think the best thing to do, because the movie itself is kind of, it's not a straight line.
Not at all.
There are lots of zigzags, and everything ties in together at the end, and you're like, okay,
yeah, all the plots and subplots are intertwined.
But while you're watching it, there was a lot of, like, when they got the friend got back to the farm, and their horses were gone, I was like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? Why do I care? And, you know, later on it turns out, oh, this is why I care. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that coming a mile away.
No, I mean, I saw it coming too, but I didn't realize why it was important to Lear.
Yeah, it would have been hard to explain it plot, subplot, just because they're all interconnected.
Tied together. And they happen, like, at the same points within the movie, so it's hard when you're saying it out loud to be like, so this, and this all happen right around the same time.
Right.
So I don't think you did a shitty job. It's just hard to explain something like that.
How does this compare to King Lear's general plot?
So King Lear is the aging king of Britain. He decides to step down from the throne and divide his kingdom evenly among his 3 daughters. That may sound familiar. First, however, he puts his daughters through a test, asking each to tell him how much she loves him. The biggest difference is the names of the daughters. Yeah. Goneril, and every time I see it, I want to be like, gonorrhea. Goneril, Goneril, so I'm going with it.
All right.
And Regan, Lear's older daughters, give their father flattering answers, but Cordelia, Lear's youngest and favorite daughter, remains silent, saying that she has no words to describe how much she loves her father. Lear flies into a rage and disowns Cordelia. The King of France, who has courted Cordelia, says that he still wants to marry her even without her land, and she accompanies him to France without her father's blessing. He learns that he made a bad decision because the older two start undermining him.
the little bit of authority that he still holds. Unable to believe that his beloved daughters are betraying him, Lear slowly goes insane. He flees his daughters' houses to wander on a... This says on a heath during a great thunderstorm. I'm not actually sure what a heath is. They go wandering through, like, the desert area. The Texas countryside. As it is.
It's a shrubland habitat found mainly on free, draining, infertile, acidic soils, and is characterized by open, low-growing, woody vegetation.
Oh, well, somebody's smarter than I am.
Google.
Whoever wrote this. Good job. Spark Notes. Accompanied by his fool and by Kent, a loyal nobleman in disguise. So I guess the fool is the slave and the nobleman is the other rancher, old guy. Meanwhile, an elderly nobleman named Gloucester also experiences family problems. His illegitimate son Edmund, that's the bastard, tricks him into believing that his legitimate son, Edgar, that's Thomas, is trying to kill him. Fleeing the manhunt that his father has set for him, Edgar disguises himself as a crazy beggar and calls himself Poor Tom. Like Lear, he heads out onto the heath.
Sure.
Okay. When the loyal Gloucester realizes that Lear's daughters have turned against their father, he decides to help Lear in spite of the danger. Regan and her husband Cornwall discover him helping Lear, accuse him of treason, blind him, and turn him out to wander the countryside. He ends up being led by his disguised son Edgar toward the city of Dover, where Lear has also been brought. And blah, 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 they fight, and it's pretty similar, it looks like, from what
Does Cordelia die?
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry.
I just fucking turned off my phone. Yes.
And then Lear dies from grief or whatever?
From grief, yes. At Cordelia's passing. Yes. So it's pretty much the same thing.
They did a really good job adapting it then.
Yeah.
Because that's like pretty much
like
movement for movement.
O felt bad.
Yeah, it just didn't fit the setting.
But this I was like, okay, this feels natural-ish.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it makes sense that they would go to war for the land.
Yeah.
Out of greed.
Yeah.
And England and France were always fine about some shit. Let's talk about what did you think of the movie?
I didn't mind it, actually. I really like Sir Patrick Stewart. I don't like watching many movies more than once. Because it's very seldom that I'm like, oh, okay, I like it enough to be like, yeah, I'll watch you more than once. In a few years, I may watch this one again.
Right.
It's not one that I would watch, like, over and over and over.
Right.
But I thought it was good. I thought it was true to Shakespeare. Everything made sense in the end.
Sometimes it's hard for me to differentiate, like, well-developed characters that I just don't like.
Yeah.
With underdeveloped characters, because I don't like those either, but it's for a different reason.
Right.
And so it's hard for me to determine whether or not I didn't like King Lear, John Lear, because he was inconsistent or because his character was mercurial. Like, it was...
He started out, like, awful. And then towards the end of the movie, I was like, oh.
Well, except for the scenes where he was intended to be awful, he seemed like an alright guy.
Yeah.
Which was hard. That's why it was hard for me to...
reconcile?
Yeah. Because he was kind of okay. Like, he wasn't someone that I really liked, but he was alright. And then all of a sudden he was just like, what do you mean you can only prove to me with actions? Fuck you. Like, it just didn't make sense for me.
I thought he came off like a dick the whole beginning part of the movie. Like, he was yelling at people that he had no reason to yell at. And when Jude gave him the horse, he was like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. And when his son was like
late.
He was like, probably would have been cool if you were here.
Yeah.
And so
he had a sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
That
he had like,
but
it wouldn't surprise, you're gonna give me a dirty look. It wouldn't surprise me to find out that he was an only child. And that's coming from me, who is married to an only child, who is raising an only child.
Well, I had a different perspective on that. I felt like it was understandable for a man of his station that had been in his station for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, he had been a man in power for a long time.
It's true.
And so he's just accustomed to being deferred to by everyone.
That's how only children are too.
I would disagree with that.
I mean,
strongly.
Some only children.
Yes, I can agree with that.
You're not a terrible human being, but I've met only children.
But generally, only children are. That's Vicky. Vicky said that, guys.
Yeah, hey, if you've not figured out which one of us is me yet, it's your girl, Vicky.
It's your boy,
Skinny Penis.
Okay, so this was throwing me off the entire movie. Patrick Stewart having hair.
Yes.
What the fuck?
My God.
It took me like 20 minutes. I was like, what is wrong with him?
I knew immediately. I was like, why do you have hair? This is so weird. I'm uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
Side note-ish, backtracking to the horse.
This episode, I'm sorry. Anybody that's listening to
messy.
This, it's all over the place, but this movie was kind of all over the place.
You gotta watch it.
Yeah, you gotta watch it to understand. And it wasn't a bad movie. I'm not gonna say don't watch it. I'm never gonna watch it again. And it was my favorite, but I wouldn't.
I liked it more than...
I wouldn't tell you not to if you were gonna.
I liked it more than O. And West Side Story. Well, it depends on the part of West Side Story. But the horse, I noticed, the horse his friend gifted him was black, and the outlaw, which you later find out is the Manchata, but in most of my notes, I just refer to him as the outlaw because I don't know his name, is riding in on a white horse.
I don't think he actually is an outlaw.
No, he's not.
But he had a very outlaw vibe.
Yeah, so I just referred to him as the outlaw. Like, that's just the way it is in my notes. It's the way it's going to be in this episode. I'm sorry. But he had a white horse, and it was one of the first notes I took, and I was like, I don't know if this is going to be symbolic, but it's interesting. And then I didn't even notice that. And then I was like, oh, it is, because he immediately went from that, or, running him off, to the meeting with his daughters. And he was
Which was dumb.
It was dumb. He was like, tell me how much you love me. Bitch.
Right? Like, it made me think of that song. I don't even know who sings it. That if you don't know me by now, you will never, ever, ever know me.
If you
don't know me. Claudia should have just started singing that. Like, if you don't know how much I love you by now.
She's like, dude, I fucking lived here. I've taken care of you.
Yeah, like, I'm not even married because I'm dealing with your dumbass.
Like, get your shit together. You got something?
Yeah. Let's discuss for a second why the fuck Rebecca and Susanna are thirsty for Emmett.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
he is not.
He had that stash that he was not rocking.
Nope.
I'm not saying he's an ugly guy, but I do feel comfortable saying that Thomas was better looking.
Yes.
And he's set to inherit land.
Definitively.
So, like, even if you're a gold digger, he's the better choice.
Yes.
And even if you're not a gold digger, he's better looking and honestly kind of had a better attitude. He's a little lazy, but, he's rich. He can be. It happens. Also, we should talk about the catalyst for Susanna and her father having their falling out. What?
Oh, no. I pulled a hair off my boob. It's just random.
So, while they're on the roundup.
Yeah. Didn't they call it herding? I had to Google it. This is so dumb.
They called it the roundup like 1,000 times.
We are in the South. Well, I heard them say herding once, I thought. And so I was like...
Well, that's basically what they're doing.
I was like, what the fuck is herding? And they're like, herding cattle. And I was like, oh, that makes sense, doesn't it?
So, they are herding cattle. Rip wanders off to look for water, right?
Yeah.
Like, is that what he's doing? He finds it.
I think yeah.
And there's another guy that's part of the roundup that's, like, pumping the water. He's like,
horses.
hey, can I, get my water a drink? Or get...
Can I get my water a drink?
Can I get my horse
It's
a drink?
real thirsty.
It's real my water.
My water.
He's like, can I get my horse a drink? And he's like, sure, but you don't use the water. Like, the horse can drink from the water, but I don't want a black man to.
He's like, I don't want your slave hands to contaminate it.
And Rip does not give a fuck. He
immediately dips both hands in, takes a drink. The white guy's like, what the fuck did I tell you?
Yeah, so then he ties him up.
To a tree,
yeah. And starts to beat him with, like, a thorn bush thing.
With a whip, wasn't it?
No, it was like a branch that had thorns on it.
Oh, I thought it was a whip.
Yeah, it was really fucked up.
Okay.
And he hits him, I think, twice. And then when he goes to him the third time, like, fucking...
Lear comes up.
Yeah, he lassos his hand or some shit.
Yeah.
That's probably where you thought you saw the whip.
Maybe. No, he lassos him, pulls him away. Mm-hmm. And then he
beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, he does.
And when he comes home, Susanna gets mad. She's like, you had no right to hit him. He's my men. Yeah.
My men.
And if you have a problem, you come to me. You don't handle it. And he's just like, fuck you, bitch. Like,
right.
I'm in charge.
Like, actually, this is my house. These are my men. This is my land. And she's like, actually, it's not anymore.
Yeah.
You gave it up. You called your price. I gave it to you.
Yes.
And don't you think it came cheaply? Because I hate you.
I hate your ass. Yeah.
You're a bitch. Like, I'm a bitch, but you're a bitch.
I mean, she kind of, like, until she became super evil, like, here she was just, like, gray area evil, but until she became super evil, I was kind of on her side, because she was talking about how he worked her mother to the bone.
Yeah.
He was a horrible father to them, and we've seen him treat them pretty shitty, and he just kicked one out because she wouldn't say, I love you. Like, what the fuck? I'm kind of with her, and then... He goes outside, him and his men are all drunk and they're shooting guns. And that's when she kicks him out and she's just like, fuck you, get the fuck off my land.
Yeah.
And...
that's fair. I guess. Ish. Fair-ish.
I was a little confused because it seemed like he was preparing his will.
Yeah.
And he was telling them what they were going to get in the will.
Yeah, I didn't feel like he was saying, this is now yours as of this minute.
So, I don't
think... we didn't sign any deeds.
Technically, I don't think it was hers. But that's just... I mean, I don't know what the laws were then.
Technicality.
Yeah.
I was a bit confused about how she ended up with the husband that she ended up with.
It's probably arranged.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Because he's, like, not shitty.
No, he was honorable. In fact, she didn't even want to talk about it until he was gone.
Yeah.
Because she knew that he wouldn't be down.
Right.
I don't think it was a marriage out of love. In fact, he seemed more concerned with Claudia. I noticed that several times. And I'm just like, bro, who is your wife?
Right.
Emmett killed the guy that made a deal with him about stealing the horses, the one that implicated Thomas.
Yeah, he was like, here, we made a lot of money on them horses, just like we agreed on. You get 50%, we'll get 50%. And hey, can I keep this costume?
Right.
This
it looks good on me.
It looks good on me. And he shoots him, takes the rest of the money, and says, you can keep the uniform.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
What a dick. So
and I was like, well, he doesn't want it now. It's got a hole in it.
Because I didn't...
It's got 2 holes in it.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's bloodstained. I don't want to wear this now.
Bloodstained.
All right, so when Susanna kicks her father out, he promises to haunt her. Yes. And since I had no frame of reference for King Lear, I thought that might be what's going to happen by the end of the movie, was that he was going to haunt her.
I did too, actually. We were wrong.
Yeah.
Very wrong.
Rip has an interesting insight when, John Lear is talking about how none of his children love him, and Rip laughs at him, and he was like, well, what do you think? And he's like, don't ask unless you really want to know. And he was like, well, tell me. And he said that there's no love in you, only pride.
Oh, yeah.
Every once in a while, when you're reading a story, you'll come across a sentence that's like a theme. And it's very clear. Like, you could rip that right out of the book, and that is like the theme of the book or a theme in the book.
Yeah.
And that line really stuck out to me.
Yes.
And he loses his mind quick. Now, he is in the desert. The desert.
Well, he's on his way to Rebecca's house.
And he can't find it.
And Rip's like, hey, man, what's up? And he's like, oh, I remember. It's this way. And he's like, bro, the house isn't that way. And Lear asks Rip if he's gone mad. Rip tells him he doesn't know. And Lear says, don't let me go mad. Shoot me first. Don't let me go mad.
Mm-hmm. He does not listen.
He does not listen because he definitely has a fucking mental breakdown in, like, the very next scene. And there's no bullet in his head.
Right. When there probably should be.
Oh. He's talking shit to the lightning and the winds.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, bitch, fight me. I'm right here. What you gonna do? And then lightning it looked like it struck him, but he was like, you missed me. And I was like, oh, dude, you're fucking crazy. And then I thought he was naked.
Yeah, I thought he was naked too, but he just was shirtless.
He was just shirtless.
Okay, so when Lear hears about them planning to war over that land that Menchaca has, I find it slightly amusing that he's not like, I don't want another war. I lost a son to a war. Like, I'm done with wars. He's like,
I said that I wouldn't.
I made a promise that I wouldn't do it. It kind of amuses me that he's just, like, he's like, I would totally be down for this, guys. But I swore an oath. But I don't know, something about that makes me laugh a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Highsmith, that's Rebecca's husband, calls him a coward. And that's why they start to fight.
Yes.
And he says, John Lear says, I bid you all good day. I hope you all burn in hell. Yes. And I want to say that. I want to say that to people now.
Well,
I bid you all good day. I hope you burn in hell.
You can say it at the end of your next yoga class.
I might.
I'd be like, I'm already burning in hell. After that, you have the scene where they're demanding to know where Highsmith went. They burn out his eyes. The worker man was like, I'm not doing this. And he lets go of not Highsmith, but the old guy. Mm-hmm. And Susanna's like, I'll do it. And so she holds him down, and he gouges out his fucking eye with a hot poker.
Yeah, I thought they were going to brand him at first.
I did too. I was like, are you going to stab him?
Because we're in the West, so that's
what are you doing?
Easy thing to do.
Yeah. And then the man shoots Highsmith. Susanna shoots the man. Rebecca has a meltdown.
Which I did not understand.
Right? You don't love him.
Yeah.
You're having an affair.
You were just making out with Emmett.
Yes.
Like, in that room.
Yes.
So I didn't really understand her. But she seemed very devoted to him.
Very.
I don't get it.
Weird. Yeah, no, I don't either. Henry, that's the old man.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Susanna's husband was also named Henry.
At the end, I was like, "Are they both named Henry?"
Yeah, so I thought that I was confused. I was like, "Oh, maybe his name isn't Henry." Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mr. Henry. It says he'll burn in hell. Talking about Highsmith. Mm-hmm. And Rebecca does not like that, so she takes his other eye.
That's so funny. I have in my notes, Henry says he'll burn in hell, and Rebecca goes full dark side.
Yeah, I was
like, she has the Anakin crossover to Darth Vader.
She's holding the poker, and then, like, as she stabs it in, it doesn't show it. Mm-hmm. So at first, I was like, I put Rebecca ... kills him.
They do a really funny thing.
Takes his other eye. I don't know.
Oh, but I
know by the end.
Yeah, they do this funny thing where they don't show her do it. They immediately cut to the outside of the house, and then he screams, and then they draw back So it's a wider shot of the ranch, and you can still hear him screaming. And because I guess we've watched Monty Python, I was expecting them to draw back and it'd be like Texas, and you still hear him scream. And then you draw back, it's the whole United States, you still hear him scream. You draw back, and it's the, fucking globe. Anyway, they didn't do that. It's a missed opportunity. It's a disappointment.
They could have made it really funny.
They could have. I mean, it's definitely a moment for comedy.
You're stupid.
Emmett, they kind of touch on the fact that Emmett and Susanna are plotting to kill her husband.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just very, like, it's a line in there very somewhere.
Like, what about your husband? She's like, we'll take care of him later.
I'm just skimming over my notes for, like, scenes that I want to bring up. And one of my notes is, Henry's blind ass is home alone again.
Right? He's just like, got his gun.
Yeah, and he's going to kill himself. He's going to straight up just blow his brains out.
Is that what he was going to do?
Yeah, that's why Thomas yells, no, and like, because he put it right under his chin.
Okay. I missed that while I was taking notes since I was split screening.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Menchaca and Claudia, they never actually spell it out that they are romantically involved, but they have more chemistry than probably anybody else in the movie.
Yeah.
So you can pick up on that.
Yeah.
John Lear finally thanks Rip for being there
for him. Yes.
Menchaca was very okay. Can we just for a second talk about the idiot in the bell tower? Because Menchaca has a fabulous plan.
Yeah.
He has all of his men on the roof.
And his women. And his children.
Yeah, everybody's on the roof. And they're laying down so that from the ground, when you're looking up, you can't see anybody. Right. So they have no idea that anyone's even there, much less how many people are there.
Right.
So Emmett is not a complete idiot like the people that he's with. Right. And he sends a scouting team of 10.
Yes.
They go in, they look around, and they are completely satisfied that nobody's there. They're just like, oh, man, we're good to go. And he turns around, and he happens to look up in the bell tower, and some idiot is walking by.
Yep.
Like they didn't get the memo of what the fuck the plan is.
Right.
And he's just like, it's an ambush. And then all hell breaks loose.
They close the doors.
Yes.
And fucking shoot those bitches down.
Yes, and then, it gets real.
Yeah, it gets real.
That one idiot, they could have had them all, fish in a barrel.
Yes.
But that one idiot ruined it. We need to find that person. They need to be hung.
That's how life goes.
Oh, and I liked that the women were armed as well.
Yeah, I thought it was really smart how they didn't actually have the kids where they could get shot, but they were in the middle of the roof and they had multiple guns and the kids were switching out guns, reloading them and giving them to the adults. And I was like, that's smart. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so John Lear walks out and with all these bullets flying around and he's just like, the fuck's happening? Stop. This isn't good. Blah. Yeah. And then Claudia, God damn it.
Claudia. That's what Menchaca calls her.
Well, she walks out after him and gets her ass shot.
Yeah.
And then they die. And the way that he mourns is not intended to be funny, but son of a bitch. It's a little bit funny. It was. I laughed.
Yeah.
It did. It happened.
He carries her out of the gates, yelling at them to, no, he runs out and yells at them to stop. And then when she dies, he just carries her out and somebody else yells at them to stop.
Yeah, and he grabs that feather.
Henry, the husband, rides up and he's like, stop. He has the bit with a feather. Or, no, he yells at everybody that they're murderers. Mm-hmm. And then has the bit with the feather where he's like, oh, she's breathing. Look at this feather. And
Rip's like, bitch, that's just the wind.
He's like, that's the wind, dude. She's dead. And once he accepts that, he just falls over dead.
Okay, now say what you will about Susanna, but I can appreciate a villain who sticks to their principles. So, when she sees that her dad and her sister are dead, she's like, whatever.
Yes.
That's the cost of doing business. And then when she sees Emmett is dead, Rebecca starts crumbling and she's just like, get it together.
Yes.
Have some pride.
Yes.
You weak ass bitch.
Yes. And when she sees her sister and her father,
neither of them are really concerned.
Her husband is like, this is your doing. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, it needed to be done.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn, Damn, girl,
she doubled down on that, like, misdeeds.
Yeah, dude. And then she gets on the horse. She rides off. She either shoots herself or gets shot by someone.
Yeah, I didn't even think that... It didn't even enter my mind that she could have shot herself.
Well, I didn't see anybody else who had, like, a gun, and I felt like it would have at least panned onto them.
Right.
The camera, but maybe... I don't know. I'm not sure. But once she gets shot, Rebecca resigns herself to whatever her fate is.
Mm-hmm. And it's not clear what that is.
No. We don't know.
And then Thomas and his dad are good to go.
Yeah, they're just hanging out. And he's like, I'll keep watch over the horses, Pa. Don't you worry. I'll be out here.
Mm-hmm. Because he's convinced he hears a coyote or something. So, I think that I probably would enjoy this more than an actual King Lear play.
I don't know. It's pretty close.
Yeah,
it's like play by play.
Super close. But I think that it's a good setting to place that story in.
Yeah. It's a bit more modern, which makes sense since we're doing modern Shakespeare.
And the Wild West is just as cutthroat, if not more so.
Yeah.
So, like, all the death fits.
Yeah, you're not like, wait, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Like, what?
Really, while I was watching it, I was like, man, you used to just be able to fucking kill people. You just kill people. Whatever.
It is what it is.
Did they do you wrong? Yeah. Kill them.
Kill them. Kill them dead.
Now we're like, did they do you wrong? Turn the other cheek.
I don't know that I agree with that sentiment, but okay.
You don't have to agree with it for it to be the truth. I mean, I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying you're supposed to.
So our takeaway from it is, if you're in the mood for a Shakespearean tragedy, this isn't a bad choice.
If you're in the mood.
It is hard to find.
If you're... Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's a little difficult 2002 TV movie.
But not impossible. Thank you, Internet.
Thanks.
Let's see. All right. Is there anything else that we want to talk about?
Do you have a VIP?
A VIP? Oh,
MVP?
my VIP would probably be Rip. The slave.
I agree. I think Rip is what held...
He was the glue.
Yeah. What little bit of sanity Lear had together. Is there anything else you want to go over there scrolling?
No, I'm looking for a note. No, I think that's pretty much it. So, thank you for listening. As always, we really appreciate it. You can contact us on social media. Like us, give us a 5-star review. We are on Google Play and iTunes.
Yes.
You can email us at dramamamaspodcast@gmail.com.
Right.
We have a Facebook page, The Drama Mamas Podcast.
Yep.
And what's our Twitter handle?
At Drama Mamas Pod.
So hit us up there.
Yes.
We're trying to be more active on Twitter. That's where all the good people are, I guess.
Maybe.
All right. So I guess I bid you all good day, and I hope you burn in hell. As always, remember to save the drama
for these mamas.
Next week on the Drama Mamas, are you upset about the sexism or just the analogy in general?
I think I'm most upset that spaghetti and waffles
are being discussed
together.
Side by side. You know what? Let's just put it right on top.
No! I'll kill you.